Hey guys, what's cracking? You can see a new setup. I've flown out to work, 3-in-1 rosters. I did mention it was coming. There is so many videos I want to do at the moment, and tonight I'm going to do a new video, new games coming out video. I've only got 3 games because I went heavier into them. I chatted to the game devs for each one of these games tonight. I want to start off with just a small bit of a look at I mentioned something in my last video about researching games, and it's super important as to why you've got to research games. So you can see here I put Solana on the bottom of the video because that was to do with some research, doing contents, just a 5-minute due diligence. So this is from DD80. Red flags are going off everywhere for me on Solana. However, so other people have done the quotes, please don't buy, etc., etc. I didn't like it from when I did the research into it initially. That's why I didn't go too much heavier into it. And let's just have a look, because this is a couple of days after I've done the video.
They've got potential, and I've seen in the last 24 hours. So what worries me is how some of these things are getting released into the system. So this is Solver's finance. Now they've got no following. They're not following 5 people. They've got 50.9k followers, and they joined a month ago. How do they get to 51k followers? I don't know. They've just done an IDO last night, and it was on their website, not linked up through anyone else, no launch pads. That to me is concerning. Reading up on the articles, I believe it was a 5 Solana minimum entry. I'm scared.
Alright, so right there's a lot of red flags, and it's hard for me having an opinion because I don't want people to miss out on a good project and a good potential. I also don't want people to get rugged. Absolutely none of what I say is going to be based on being financial advice. I really want to put that out there. The research I'm putting out is to try to get spotlight on some of the lesser known games, as well as give people an opportunity to say, oh, holy fuck, this game looks cool. I'm going to be minting. It's where it comes down to. If a game's done their job right, then I should be minting. That's going to be my baseline goal. And it was, super cool that we've seen people tweeting out, don't buy this, the project looks scammy as fuck. Now you can see that's me room, that's me setup. Interesting thing. So 3 games today I've got to talk about: Heroic Empire, Solaknights, and then Project Eluune. Eluune we'll go with. All of them look awesome, and I'm going to aim to get something in all of them. So Heroic Empire looks like a game that may be based on like a Civilization / mixed with a Clash of Clans style. The gameplay will be a bit better, obviously, than the old Clash of Clans being on phone only. Now let's have a flick through some of their webpage. I love some of the graphics, kind of Lego-ish like, but you can see they do concentrate on some of the old themes of like the Mongols, the Romans. I didn't see anything with like phalanx, but there is plenty of information coming in the game. I don't believe they've got a game ready to go yet. I think they're going to be Q1 or Q2 of next year at the best. But there is an opportunity to be able to earn an early assistance, an early OG role, we'll call it. I don't know if they do call it OG role, but by getting in and promoting the community, doing quests, doing some fun things, some achievements. What I really like about all 3 of these games tonight is all of them are based around building a community around their game. So how these guys are going to do it, Heroic Empire, they're going to be sending out sword NFTs to people that get that early assistance role, and they're going to that will give you a prio to minting in their first mint, which will be somewhere around 1,500 mints. So it's not going to be a whole lot, but there's also going to be a quest loop that's going to have it's going to be redoable, that you're going to have a chance to win NFTs. So they are doing a game where they have a chance of being able to be free to play and get yourself involved into it. I I don't know whether it's further down in the gameplay section. So I've done a lot of research into several games today, more than I had thought that I would. I want to get games out, but I kind of got excited and talked to some of these game devs. So it was Heroic Maxi from the Heroic Empire, and he was awesome, really super chatty dude. Couldn't help me enough in the end. I think this talks about the gameplay very briefly, but there's going to be classes of armies, archers, cavalries, warriors, clerics, spearmen, etc., designed with unique features and attributes, weapons, wardrobe, accessories. To build an army, you need to collect the NFTs, and they'll use those to enter battles. They need to attack enemies that are NPCs and fight in quests to win NFTs. Now, they are planning a PvP element later where you will take your army and march versus your opponent. Smaller NFTs can be combined into more rare and valuable NFTs. For instance, an archer and a horse can be transformed into a mounted archer. Should have probably been an archer on the horse picture there as an example, but that shows you how you're going to be able to get one NFT, a second NFT, join them and make a more rare NFT that's likely going to be more valuable, have better statistics, all those kinds of things. So I like that what they're talking about is they're going to be having a world which is based on our historical world. Medieval times, Mongols, you'll see some Roman pictures. There was a female artist picture somewhere. I wonder whether that was a tie-in to Queen Elizabeth. But they do talk a little bit about the story. And they're going to be having legendary heroes and do a legendary heroes collection. So you can see here they talk about the team. Now, I think it's less than 4 developers, so I'm not sure how the team's completely working out at the moment. They're going to be an anonymous team to start off with, but they do plan on doxing themselves at some stage. So they have met at, where did they meet? At some of the hackathons, and have talk to each other. They're not all based in one town or one country. They are populated around the world. So like I said, I had a bit of a chat with Maxi. He was super awesome, and there was a lot talked about. The sword that was mentioned, let's see if I had some things open up in Discord. Vax had nothing. They will mint in October, so you've got 2 to 3 weeks at the most to be able to get in and do some early quests, some early challenges. They have had memes, they've had invite challenges, and they are based around doing that. The invite ones are funny because you see this come up in almost all games at the moment. I don't think they're the best idea because you're inviting random bots. You're allowing bots to create ways to get those early options. It's not good, you know, like I could link it on Grape and say, right, let's get 5,000 clicks on this, but to me, I don't want to send 5,000 random people to these games. I'd rather put it down below in my comments, and if I've got something, give it to the Grape community and use it as a prize for that. I haven't gone further down that. I will discuss that with my Friday night crew, though. Guess the name of the legendary sword. See, it's going to be a fun game. I like the looks of it. I'll absolutely be minting. I don't want to make this about being financial advice, but I do have to put the disclaimer out more often than I do put the disclaimer out, so to speak. They're talking about being under 2 Solana, so it's not going to be a huge cost to mint. It's only going to be 1,500. That sword that you get is going to give bonuses, potential drops down the track, extra NFTs, and potentially they've got 2 game coins. They'll have a governance coin and a utility coin, much like Axie. They're planning on buying low prices NFTs from the floor and reintroducing those back into someone that's going to love that NFT, play the game, champion the game, those kinds of things. I've mentioned the world, mentioned that. I think that's pretty cool. So these guys, big thumbs up, super awesome. Thanks for your help, Maxi. It was good fun talking to you, bro. Solaknights, next game. Now, Solaknights is funny. I saw this little icon picture in a couple of posters. Didn't know that it was Solaknights. I've had this written down for almost a week now. This is why I want to get into heavier research. I could do a video every day, and I don't think I would keep in front of the content that I've got to put out. Now, these guys are going to be an MMORPG. They look at being something similar to World of Warcraft, but they've mentioned a name. They want to mix it in with another game, and it was a game that I hadn't heard of. Dark Souls. So yeah, Dark Souls and World of Warcraft. Now let's actually play some of this content because they've got some cool looking YouTube content. They've got 3 videos on their YouTube. Check them out. I'll put links down the bottom later. This is a high definition off the website. This is quite low quality. You're going to get the Barndog internet, unfortunately. You can see it. Trap there. Spike trap. Just swapping over to Discord. There was an old game on Xbox. This reminds me of. For the life of me, I can't work it out what it was. Hopefully not every monster is going to be a one hit. But the graphics are cool, right? Oh, he's obviously bitten the dust. I think when you die, you get chopped up. It's something I had read within part of my chats and discussions. My mouse is giving me the shits. All right, that was one of them. There's 3. This comes off their website. Now, this was part of the trailer teaser. It's very dark, very similar, where he runs in, kills some monsters. You can see a hit point, maybe an attack energy bar. Just got sound. Comes over here, kills some more dudes, opens a chest. So obviously the games aren't going to be this basic, as in you kill 4 monsters, one hitting them, and you get an NFT that can be sold for actual real life money. But this is, showing some gameplay. It's worth mentioning that, who did I speak to here? Warhands was his name. Now, what was super cool was he was excitable, he was great to talk to, and he did mention that they are so far in front of what they've got created here. This very much looks like a UBRS run to start off with. At least I've got chicken. Dude with shield. As you can see, he's taken a few hits. I reckon it's awesome. They plan on being UE5, so they're not releasing a UE4 and then going to pair up with UE5s. That gives you a bit of an idea that the game won't be out this year. Arrow went through the wall there. But December. In December, Warhams had said that he hopes to play a boss fight that they've got nearing completion, which is going to be 5 of the game devs tackling the boss, and if they get killed in the game, then their bodies are strewn all across the metaverse. So this is their website. Funnily enough, you see there's more time put into the YouTube videos than the actual website. And in saying that, the website's not bad. It talks about the characters. Now, there's going to be 20,000 characters. There's going to be 2 lots of 10,000 Solaknights with a distinguished difference. Gen 0 and Gen 1. Excuse me. And of course I didn't get a bottle of water. Gen 0 are going to mint this week, so I will upload this video tonight. But to be able to get Gen 0, you need to possibly have a look at potentially buying something from their Metaplex. I'll show that later. Or being in there for the minting. They're actually going to be pairing up with a second chain, and I hadn't heard of the second chain, Phantasma. So something about Phantasma creating an SDK, and they're going to be able to pair up with it. And then there was also mention of pairing up with Arweave to be able to store their NFT information and, pick up things and change your NFTs as you're running along. And they're going to launch up with them and release 5,000 of the first Gen 0 on each of Solana and then Phantasma. and then with the Gen 1, they're going to do the same. So it's going to be a double blockchain game. There's a few Solana games that are coming out that are aiming to be double blockchain games. These guys are very heavy into partnering up with other teams, other protocols, and you can see here one of the characters for one of those teams. Rarity is super important in this particular game. Where they've got the rarity lists, I'm not 100% sure, but I'll remind myself later to talk about some of that. So rarity means if you've got an early rare, say you've got 3 rarities, it's not exact, but common, uncommon, and rare. If you've got a common knight from their Metaplex, there are live auctions up now. If I get the video done early enough, I'm actually going to probably try and look at the end of them because they are ending soon. If you've got a common, then you'll be able to possibly get a free drop of a common. But if you buy a rare, that rare won't give you a drop of another common. It will be a rare or more rare, so to speak. So what the auction place is starting off with, I'm waiting for it to load up. The old Barndog internet is going to struggle. But what they're looking at here at the moment is the auction house has linked off the rarities of the NFTs. So you're going to see some pretty big numbers. I think one of them was 5,000 Solana. There was another one at 2,000 Solana. There was one at 120 Solana. But there's also some of the characters are there at 1 or 2 Solana. I did have this loaded up earlier, but I can't help with it not loading up. But then they've also talked about having a buy it now function. They're going to try and put around between 20 to 50 knights that are going to be buy it now options. So they're not going to be a mint. They're going to be a buy it now as a common rarity. So they're going to give people a cheap entry into the game. But if you mint one of the 5,000, then of course that rare chance happens. And anyone that's been following NFTs, whether it's PFP, whether it's gaming utility NFTs, the raring, the minting it is part of the fun part. That random chance that you might get a epic, legendary, super 4x legendary. You know, getting that more rare item that has certain traits, blah blah blah. That's where it's cool. For some people, they might just want to spend 100, 150 bucks, buy into the game and start playing. So I do like the extra options. It's something different than what I've seen, and that isn't going to load up for me. Now, in their Discord, there was a fair bit of information. Solana. So, in the fact, the integrating, well, they said 4 or 5, but talking to Warhands earlier, he had emphasised Unreal Engine 5, and it talks about the wallets, getting in there. You can't use other outside NFTs, but there's going to be an option down the track maybe that they do some kind of link ups. How do I purchase a Solaknight? You go to their auction page. How do I do a partnership? Talk to them. They're very open to partners. They are keen on that, and that is one of the beautiful things about Solana all round. Now, did I? I did. Cool. Sometimes I forget, and to be 18 minutes into a video would be annoying. 0 gas fees because it's Solana, of course. How do I see? Loading into your wallets. Right, why do the first 100 Solaknights have no weapons? Now, I didn't get to show this, so the Solaknights are just standard characters and they're standing there like that. Now, what this is the first 100 will be able to choose any weapon available in the game. We allow users to pick in return for supporting our launch. So it's part of that early release. Now, I did notice there was some on their website. Has it loaded up? It has not. Try a refresh. Information worth mentioning. I've mentioned that. I've talked about the mints. I've talked about the YouTube. I've even shown the YouTube. They've talked about how they want to release this in the UE5 and take it to E3 and TwitchCon. So they are competitive. They've got a good dev team. Looking through part of the information, I will go back to that. I've talked about the rarities. Yeah. So Gen 0 this week. I like it. I like what I've seen with the video play. I like talking to the developers for the team. Very open, very friendly. It's part of their, where are we? part of the partners, they talk about Dippers and Soul Sleepy. I'm familiar with neither, but some of the NFTs that they're doing, they're going to be babies and adults. And then there was one here where this shield had the emblem of where it comes from. So I'm not 100% sure how they're going to tie into the game, but I am keen to put these guys on my watch list and see more information as it comes out. That's kind of where I want to get at, is get the games out there that are both exciting, I want to mint in, and potentially getting in that is not going to load. Now, last game to talk about tonight, Project Eluune. Now, I am absolutely not going to do this justice, but having spoken in Discord, and I will link some of that conversation to one of the game devs, these guys have got a very immersive developer team. They are not anonymous, so they put out where they are, where they've come from, what they're talking about, what they want to do. Now you can see here, MMORPG, brought to you by past metagame designers of Gods Unchained, Worlds of Tanks. Founders Land NFT is dropping soon. So I need to get water. I'll keep talking while I can. Founders Land sales of NFTs is going to be something like 7,000. Is the exact number there? 7,027 files. Excuse me. So that's going to be the land for this game. Now, it's not going to be small little land plots. From my understanding, is it's going to be these big land parcels. And what that means is if you buy one of those 7,000 parcels, you can have, I'll have to go and check the number, hopefully that comes out in my clicks, but I think it's between 20 and 120 other people on your land parcel. And you can allow them or not allow them. That's going to be your team that's going to play there. Formidable Mist, Dormant 3, Dormant 9, Stargaden. Now, there's not enough time for me to be able to study this game. I want to deep dive that. I'm going to put it straight out there and say, I think this thing looks shit hot from the research I've done. And the Discord, will get into that, is hugely immersive. If you like codes, if you like looking at a project that is going to return to you so much potential chance of challenges and immersive code-breaking teams, competitions, things like that, there is a chance to get in early. There is a chance to get in and get a OG styled role, which will allow you a chance to buy in their first sale. You cannot buy otherwise. You need to get a that's my dog shit internet. You need to get one of their early release to be able to get into the mint. So this is a game that I'm putting out. I love being able to put this out for the community, for the crowd to get out there and do their research, to jump in, have a chat to them. I'll link the Discord down below. I think they do have a challenge. That doesn't interest me about that. They actually, no, they did stop their Discord challenge, but they had it at 5. I talked about this earlier in the video. They did have it set at 5 invites. I think got them an OG entry, and they've kind of gone afterwards, well, maybe that wasn't a great idea. So let's have a look at some of their website, Barndog.sol. It is an immersive site. There's shitloads of information. It's super cool. So many things to be able to click on. Of course, my clicks are not working. I love my internet. And find out information. Mint to be announced. So they don't have a mint date yet. But like I said, there's time to get into their Discord. There's time to find out, help, talk about all these kinds of things. Actually meet people. See whether it works for you. If it doesn't, cool. There's going to be plenty of other games. If it does work for you, spend some time, meet some people. What is a Star Garden? So this is talking about the NFT at the start. Floating island that is a point of entry to our metaverse. An NFT designed to have a special utility in our upcoming play-to-earn game. Minting a Founder Star Garden. By minting a Founder Star Garden, you essentially become the owner of a play space and the leader of a tribe that populates it. Your Star Garden levels up along with its members, permanently improving play-to-earn opportunities for anyone on it. So it's going to be in everyone's interest to increase that. 20 factions, 39 dormant traits, 5 levels of rarity. There's so much information. Oh my god. Star Gardens are living entities that evolve. Progression content accumulates on your Star Garden and becomes permanent. Thus, the Star Garden becomes more powerful the more it is used, unlocking new gameplay and enhancing its value if traded. Founding Star Gardens are not the only key to your own land. They are a direct communication channel between you and the story world. Each Star Garden has unique traits lying within their metadata represented by emblem that appears on the Star Garden and demarcates what faction founders belong to. No two emblems are the same. Code breaking. This is where it's going to come in. It is going to be so cool. Star Garden founders will receive places of the game and storyline drop to them depending on the makeup of these traits. The faction you are in is important. Dormant traits are another kind of Easter egg that will reveal themselves as you move forward. Tribes. Other players have to be on a Star Garden to unlock gameplay, and as an owner of one, you get to choose who can join. So it sounds cool. You click on the more info, that takes you into more info. It talks about the Arrivant Tribe. So this is, I believe, the game developers. So is this someone on the Monkey DAO? Not too sure. Some of these names for me, I'm learning some of these names. And that's the thing is, I did have a chat with, who was it tonight? I think Noodle Boy was on there, but it was none of those names. So it talks about their history. Get in, have a read, DYOR. This is the important parts about it. What it's nice is seeing such a hugely detailed list of game developers, where they've come from. Oh yes, Sarsarock, that's who I spoke with today. Awesome dude, and he's pitched to World of Warcraft as well, but yeah, he built games and economies. He was a writer, I believe, for gaming, for MMORPGs, and he was actually pretty cool to talk to, and I like that. You know, being able to talk to some of these game developers has been one of the funnest parts for me in being able to put this content out there. And the more I get to do it, the more doors are unlocked, I guess, for me, and it is super cool. So Star Garden, a new kind of NFT. This was cracked. They did do a tweet by Crack. Someone's worked out information that's led into more information. So this is not another PFP project. We're building a cooperative, free-to-play, play-to-earn MMORPG powered by Solana blockchain that restores the sense of adventure and empowerment that made the earliest virtual world so wonderful. The difference is that we're deploying a bonanza of new technologies, the secret sauce, and pro-consumer designers' methodologies that will make such a world enduring and without the barrage of loot boxes, Mount Sales, and pay-to-win systems that you don't want but were forced to endure. World of Warcraft, it's a term to not just World of Warcraft, but so many of the old styled games where they released a mount at $25, sold 30 million of them. However many millions they wanted to sell them. They weren't limited, they weren't restrictive, but there was no way to ever recoup the money from that. Games like this, blockchain, gaming, that shit changes. You might put $1,000 into a game, you might be a hardcore gamer, you might play it for years to go, but you might then have an opportunity to go, okay, I've reached the limit of my enjoyment, take that money out, move into another game. And that is cool to see. These guys are going to have a free-to-play element of the game. How that works, I'm not sure. I need to do more research into this game. Now, the video is getting longish. I do want to show more, but I also want to try and pump out one more video tonight. So let's go and have a quick look at their Discord. Holy shit, 1 second. Now, in their Discord, I was having a chat earlier to Sarsarock. Now, he did have something which I thought was awesome. So I asked him, do you have anything specific in a little introduction video as to who these guys are? And he's gone. The most important thing is that our game is designed to be super social. We want people to feel needed and want to buy their chosen community. That's more important than any of the other math or technology involved. Also, because it's both free to play and anti-pay to win, anyone can play and decide if it's for them without having to spend $1,000 first. We think this will promote huge engagement from people who normally would be afraid to get into NFT gaming. That's very well said. I know they're going to have a list of questions they can't answer. They're going to, you can see there's plenty of chatter through there with Sarsarock and myself. We're talking for a little bit there. Now, NFT gaming, people that have played traditional games where you might spend World of Warcraft was, let's say, $15 a month. That's very low input. But if you play that for 5 years, 10 years, shit, I played the game for 10 years. 4 accounts at one stage, $60 a month. That shit adds up very quickly. Now, some of the new NFT games that are coming out are up to, let's say now it's lowered at the moment, but up to 6 Solana at the moment. It's a high point, but there are games coming out soon that are going to be at that price point. That's $1,000. You don't know if the game's going to launch this year, next year, if it's going to be any good. So free-to-play is going to be super important. So all of the games tonight, don't know whether Solaknights is going to be free-to-play, sorry. But free-to-play, there's going to need to be elements of free-to-play in these kinds of things, big games, because if they don't have free-to-play, then they force potentially not being adopted by the crowd. And if a game's not adopted, that's the death of it. Now, what was worth mentioning as well is that these guys look like being a metaverse upon themselves. The early game is going to be a way that I took away from the conversation for them to be able to produce the next leg of their journey in game development towards what they want, which could potentially be some form of AR. And they talk about their special source. So if the technology is out, that means they're creating it. So what you've really got to keep in mind is that this could be a potential game that may not be out for many years, and you've got to be very careful with doing your decisions on, do you want to get into that kind of game? It's going to be free to enter, but then you've got to make that decision. Do I want to buy a Stargard? So that's going to be limited on things to making sure that you get in and get one of those early purchase tickets. I've got to do more research on how to get one of those things. That's going to be cool. I like the looks of this game. Highly bullish. All games I mentioned tonight, they have different levels of gameplay. Some of these games are set out to be world-changing MMORPGs. Some of these games are going to be little fun games to play as well that are still going to have elements of gameplay that you might log in for 3 minutes and play, do an attack, do a raid, and it won't be the game that's based on keeping you on there 12 hours a day. I think there's room for so many games to come into this community and grow. I've got about 40 on my list at the moment, and really enjoyed doing this video. So I hope you guys like, and thank you, Mother, for the rabbits.